Hey everybody, thank you for listening to Filling in the Gaps. Be sure to check us out on our social media pages at Filling in the Gaps. From there you can get updates on show releases and anything special we may be doing. Sit back and enjoy the show. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Filling in the Gaps. As always, my name is Rich, and joined, as always, by my great friend Cameron from down the biggest and baddest state of Texas. Every week, we go ahead and take a random theme and a random scenario and mash it together into, hopefully, something that'll help spark an idea for your next game night. We know that DMing every week can be hard, so we're here to hopefully make it just a little bit easier. Yes. Cam, what's been going on with you? Do we have anything exciting coming up or any announcements for this week?
We do have one announcement at the very least. Well, just to add to the intro that I will record here a little later on. We're having a Halloween episode, not this week, but next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Spooky, scary skeletons. That's what the session's going to be. I know we're supposed to roll, but I'm going to fudge the roll.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna be rolling behind a screen so that no one can actually tell what we're rolling.
Exactly. Yep.
Because everybody they hear our rolls now and they're like, oh, it's easily a 16. That was easily a 14.
Yeah, I can tell 100%.
Yeah, I know these. I know these dice like the back of my hand. We also have a dice giveaway. We're gonna do a dice giveaway, and it's gonna be titled. Yeah, it's gonna be titled. Totally not Rich and Cameron trying to drum up some interest in the podcast dice giveaway 2018. That's what it's going to be called. Yeah.
Boom. I love it. It sounds amazing and totally organic and not something that somebody else has done before and we're stealing their idea at all.
Yeah, definitely not to fabricate any extra listeners or anything like that as well. Just purely because we want to give away dice.
Exactly. And you know what? I know this is early, but who's that dice going to come from? Who's our dice sponsor? Yeah, Libris. You know who those dice are going to come from. Arcana. The one and only Libris Arcana Dice. I thought we were going to say it at the same time, Cam, and you left me hanging there in front of everybody.
Dice. I'll edit that back in. Don't you worry.
No, it's done. No, it's no. You had your chance. But you know what? That's okay, because we're talking about Libris Arcana Dice, and every time we talk about them, it just makes me so happy. Because what you can do, obviously, we love random stuff. We love the kind of ad lib, shooting from the hip. We're both very ad lib DMs, and because of that, we love Libris Arcana Dice. So what you can do, what they provide, is every month or every 3 months, they'll send you either one set of dice or 3 sets of dice, and you don't know what you're gonna get, but they are like solid dice. Like, I'm not telling you you're gonna get like, I don't know. I've bought random dice bags off of like Amazon before, and kind of gotten like crappy dice. And been like, oh, this wasn't worth my money. But Libris Arcana Dice, they send you good dice. Like, they actually give you your money's worth. And speaking of your money's worth, you can use the promo code FITG and get 15% off your first order.
25%,
so make sure you check
actually.
them out. 25? Cam, 25%? Yeah. What are you doing here listening to this podcast, people? Get off your phone, get off your computer,
and then get back on your phone.
Yes, afterwards. But right now, go. Order dice. Tell them we sent you. Use the promo code. But yeah, so they're our amazing sponsor. We'll be giving away 2 of their sets of dice. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, 2 weeks, everybody. So October 28th is up. It's up to y'all to go and do the following. You can go to our Twitter or our Instagram. And get entered by just liking one of the posts, and not one of the posts specifically. Let me say that the right way. Liking the specific post that we post about the dice giveaway itself. So we're going to do a specific post of dice giveaway for Twitter, and we'll be doing the same thing for our Instagram. On Reddit, obviously, likes aren't tracked. I can't go and see who exactly upvoted something. So if you just go comment your name, or if you just go, hey, want to be a part of the dice giveaway on the dice giveaway post, we will enter you in. We got 2 different sets going out to 2 lucky listeners. You can't win twice, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that's good to clarify.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that y'all are aware out there. Anyways, beyond that, hey, Rich.
Hey, Cam.
Shall we roll?
Pop, pop. pew, 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 pew. Let's do it. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to come up with a new catchphrase because I always do let's do it. And I feel like that's getting stale. I got to keep things fresh, you know?
Actually, Nike, don't lie. Nike called, and they were like, it feels a little bit close to just do it. So,
I mean, I didn't want to say that, but you know, everyone always loves drama, so let's just say that Nike's suing us. Nah, I'm just
They are definitely suing us.
But here's
All
what
right,
you
man.
can do. If you ever have any suggestions for a theme or scenario or catchphrase, hit us up on Discord. We will probably use it.
Yes.
But speaking of which, yes, Cam, let's roll. Okay, so for those of you guys who might be new, I'm going to be rolling today for our scenarios. It could be driving out a witch, assassinating a ruler, catching a thief. Cam will be rolling for our themes, such as Candyland, a crowded port, a graveyard. And after we each roll, using our trusted D20s, we will then just brainstorm on whatever comes to our mind when we think of these two things. So
Before we
Cam,
roll, though, Rich, are you using a standard D20 or a counter?
I am using a standard D20 this time because I know everyone's getting on me about that. So I've got a yellow and green dice today, and I'm ready to go whenever you are. What are you rolling?
Orange and blue complementary colors with white lettering. It is beautiful and ready to be rolled. Let's do this thing.
All right, let's do it. Okay, you know what? I do have to say that this is much lower than I usually roll with my not standard D20 dice, so maybe that's a thing. But I rolled a 2.
What? This is going to be crazy. Okay, our rules are brought to us this week by the listeners of Done and My Little Owlbear. Haven't heard from you in a bit, both of y'all, actually. Hope y'all are doing great. Thank y'all for the wonderful suggestions. We are set in the theme is a graveyard, and the scenario is big, stompy robots.
In a graveyard.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I'm like, what is going to happen from here?
Now, does robots have to be? Are we saying that robots have to be like literally like metallic and computer programs robots? Are we saying they can be golems? What's your? And you know what? Let me ask you this before we even clarify the rules. When you think of either graveyard or specifically big stompy robots, what pops into your mind?
Power Rangers right away.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm talking like good old-fashioned sword slice across the chest of a giant monster, or more specifically a man in a rubber suit, and then falling on fake buildings and just doing exquisite movements within these giant suits. So we're going to have ourselves a robot. Giant robot.
How silly do we want to get with this episode today?
I actually want to do a pretty crazy, silly episode. I think we should have a giant mech battle.
Dude, I'm kind of feeling the same way, man. Like, we haven't done, like, just a crazy, silly session in a while. Like, and I know, like, when I first said graveyard, what popped into my head, and probably Vactorum's too, because me and him usually like the same, like, style of stuff, is, like, skeletons, zombies, let's graveyard this up. But what if, hear me out, what if there's something where you have these, almost like a Voltron or a Power Ranger type team that, you know, died and was buried, and you have to, like, essentially raid their graves, and by raiding their graves, and probably there's some minor dungeon solving involved with that as well, you get the ability to, like, get these mechs that they were driving, and then you fight some big thing after the end of it.
Look, and this is all it is right here. It's a clockwork, like, sort of Warforged massive mech that's like Tarrasque level size, destroying a town. And each of these like, they were holy sort of like warriors, paladins on the world, and they all died. And so they all sort of like, they were like battle wagons or something like that. And now if you get each of the pieces of this giant necromantic, is that the right word? This giant necromantic being comes together and becomes one giant sort of like undead, giant robotic faith-powered beast that has to fight this massive robot destroying a city. And
Question: can it be called Bible Man?
Yes, 100%.
No, but like I seriously think that's sweet. And for
Yeah.
a lot of sessions, something like this, I mean, I've always thought about doing a session where there is like a like an actual Tarask, or like even like a using one of the demon lords could be really interesting for this too. Like this could be something where, going back to the episode we did on like Ublex, if he got loose, or if a demon lord actually got loose, you could then have a quest where you have to go and like piece together all of these, or find these different artifacts that when they come together, like you form this giant, like you said, Voltron type mech, and then you fight.
Yeah.
And I think honestly it would be cool too to just have it be like a all of you guys are functioning as one, almost like a round robin type thing. So there's
Right.
the Tarask, and it's taken its big turn or whatever you're fighting, and then you kind of, instead of it being then 5 people take their turns,
Yeah.
do it where like one person takes their turn every round. So it's like, okay, you're kind of controlling the robot this turn. What are you doing? Now it's your
Right.
turn to control the robot. What are you
Have
doing?
you ever played the game on it's, I forget what it's called, but there's a flash game that you can play on the computer where you have to press certain amount of, like, just in a proper sort of rhythmic way, make this guy run across the screen, but you have
Yes.
control of each of his joints.
Is it like QWOD or something?
Yeah, something like that. But I was thinking about how funny it would be is if you still let your players have their turns, but each turn they're also like working on controlling this monster, and so, or this giant mech. And so at first they're freaking out and they don't really know. One leg takes one step the other way. One leg takes they're all inputting these commands, and so this massive machine is like, wait, hold on. But then they start to gel and start to become a cohesive unit. I mean, it both ways works for sure, and I think it would be so much fun for the player to be like, sit there and go, I'm at the helm of this massive mech. I don't know what to do. Oh man,
Or even
this is great
to be able
dude.
to have like, or maybe you just even have a laundry list of all these different things that these robots can do, and maybe like they can only do 2 things a turn. So like
Yeah.
the guy who's like the left leg has a special ability that he can do. The guy who's the arm has an ability that he can do, and
Right.
like they still have to work together because they can only do 2 things. So the leg dude is like, I can do this like rocket jump thing, and we can do it to do that. And then this other guy's like, yeah, and if you do that, I could be this sword thing, and we could hit him.
Yeah.
So
I
maybe
love
that could work better.
Okay.
But, okay. So I'm thinking through, trying to be more faithful to the graveyard thing. What if the story where we could maybe kind of get graveyard to work, maybe question mark, could be, what if there is some, okay, now we're doing straight Power Rangers now.
Yes.
There is some kind of like lich, or I don't know, some kind of undead wizard. We'll call him Zordon. Fine, we'll call him Zordon. And he's out there, and he releases this giant monster, and he knows that the only thing that can stop him is this old robot.
Yes.
So the robot's not working, but he knows, because he's been hiding until now, that only the paladins. So we're mixing Power Rangers and Voltron together now. Only the paladins could actually pilot this thing, and they were all buried with an artifact, or a ring or whatever to keep it safe.
Yes.
So he goes to all their graveyards, or to where they were like communally buried or whatever, and he starts like just raising all the undead there, and he makes like this like fort thing appear, like a bone fort or like a flesh fort, which could be really creepy. And then you have to like fight your way through all these minions to get these artifacts.
Yes.
And then once you get them, it kind of almost feels like the session entirely changes, because now you're not necessarily in a graveyard, but that's where it becomes big stompy robots.
Yes. And then it's like, with all powers combined, we are Bible Man.
Bible Man.
And you're on all your players just clang the rings together, and then boom, there it is. Now, here's one more thing to play into the graveyard side of things, and then we'll hop into beginning the story of like what specifically we got to do. But
Yeah.
what if it's a giant undead robotic thing, like bone, like a bone, like it's made out of bones and parts like that, and sort of holy energy. And maybe back in the day, I don't know. That's actually hard to think about because, like, I was thinking, like, maybe back in the day it was a living giant thing that's controlled by the paladins. But then I thought about how weird it is that they would be controlling a living thing. What's up,
dude? This could be sweet. And it feels very like Saturday morning cartoonish to me. Okay, if we wanted to do something that's actually undead, look at page 29 of the Monsters Manual. We could
so we're not in Volo's Guide of or anything like that, right?
No, just the actual Monsters Manual. I know, going old school.
I'm so
but
happy.
it's a creature type we haven't used before, a Death Tyrant,
I see
which
this
is
now.
an undead beholder. That is kind of like achieved lichdom. And here's the thing: can you imagine this Death Tyrant sitting on top of this giant undead amalgamations of like bones?
Yes.
And instead of it shooting like all of its beams, so on a Death Tyrant, for those guys who don't know, D&D, one of its original creatures that like is true to D&D, it's like their thing. Gary Gygax made it. Is called a beholder, and a beholder is a large floating central eye with a mouth, almost like imagine just a cyclops head, but it also has these octopus-like tendrils where 8 other eyes come off of it. Each eye has a very powerful beam attached to it that's different. A Death Tyrant is just the skull of the beholder, and all of the eyes are represented by tiny floating, some neon colored like orbs, like lights. Now imagine this Death Tyrant's head is sitting on top of this bone, like these bones, with its central eye lit up, and then all of its other eyes are on different parts of this giant mech suit that it makes out of bones. Yes. And it still has all the powers. So, like, from its hand, it might shoot, like,
one of the, like, the petrification ray or the sleep
exactly.
ray. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. And that's the big bad?
That's the big bad.
Okay, cool. And then this giant sort of holy knight is based off of these paladins that, and each of the paladins, like, have a ring, and it's like an ethereal, massive, big, stompy mech robot kind of thing.
Yeah, and the paladins could honestly be what killed the beholder originally and made him into a Death Tyrant, which is why he knows about these rings. Okay, so one thing that I loved in one of the sessions I did, there was this god who got injured. So in my session, I made it so that the gods, like, to be relevant in the world, have to possess like vessels. So this one war god, Thorin, actually asked for his followers to make him a giant mech to live in. And then he got injured, so he kind of sat down, and this like city built around his body that was just kind of sitting down.
Yes.
So I'm imagining, what if it's something like that? Like, what if this Voltron thing is still kind of together, but after it like beat this Death Tyrant or this beholder the first time, it kind of just like sat down and the city kind of built around it. So like there's this giant standing or sitting or kneeling, kind of like, I think a mixture of like wooden and stone and gear
and brass. Yeah, because I want to play into the robots kind of thing. I think that's the best way to go about it too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But it hasn't worked for so long because no heroes have gotten these rings together enough to be able to, to be able to work it. And maybe Graveyard, we can play more off of the Death Tyrant, like coming and bringing the Death Tyrant brings the Graveyard with him. Like he's coming to take out this city that he just like hates because it actually killed him. So maybe he's coming and he's bringing the Graveyard, theme with him, with all these undead and with his giant undead, thing that he makes. And maybe more of the big stompy robots comes from how we go ahead and reactivate this mech, which could then be through, rings that you find, or it could be through something else. You could even have some of your players who are more like technologically inclined, like maybe there's a battery source that they have to do, or maybe your players kind of make a bargain where like maybe part of their life energy has to power this thing
associated to it. Yeah. I actually love the idea of going to the graveyards and raiding the tombs of these fallen paladins, though. I think that's something that could be, maybe there's a lich that's a, sort of like even though a lich is a higher challenge rating, just bear with me.
I'm barren.
The Lich is sort of like the servant of this death tyrant. Or he's the creator of the death tyrant, whatever it may be, and he's the one going to each of these graveyards, sort of booby trapping them and like making it to where he's trying to verify that he can't allow your players to get in to steal these rings back. And then I guess like a good workaround for him, the reason why he's just not grabbing them himself is because they're maybe protected with holy energy that makes it to where it hurts him or something like that.
I like that. So that's the loophole. Like they made it so that like creatures with evil alignment can't use these rings.
Right.
So this guy can't get the rings. So the best he can do is try to keep people from getting the rings.
Correct. Like maybe when an evil character tries to pick it up, it's legitimately like Mjolnir, like the hammer of Thor, and it's like you cannot lift it. It's as if it was part of the ground itself. But then when someone of good, faith or something like that goes to pick up the ring, they're capable of doing so, and then that's when they can start to begin to control the robot itself.
Yep.
And so how do your players find out about? How do you start this story? Do you start it with the death tyrant, like sort of destroying an outlying town?
Man, so here's the thing that I'm having a problem with. This idea is just so goofy, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Right. But part of me is like, is this one of those sessions where it doesn't necessarily start super epic, like or super like tied in, or is it more just kind of like I think allowing it to have that goofy feel could still feel good. That being said, I do like the idea of maybe this death tyrant destroying a town, or even like this death tyrant really having this Saturday morning cartoon evil personality about him, where it's just like he's out for revenge, he's super cocky, and worst comes to worst, he just knows at the end of the day, Team Rocket's going to blast off again, and like he'll have some kind of escape plan, which is very true of a beholder. Beholders always have like a plan C, D, E, F, and G. So I could see him very much having just things are looking bad. Good thing I have 15 scrolls of teleportation just ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And dude, this should be our anime episode. 100%. It's legitimately Voltron. It's Power Rangers. It's Attack on Titan.
Yep.
It's Pokemon. Like it's our anime episode. I would imagine Joel might like this, actually. I remember him saying something about how he watches anime. At least his picture has anime in it. That's an assumption based off of me. Sorry, Joel.
So he totally loves anime then. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I'm not going to put up a picture of the Tennessee Titans and then be like, not a fan. Not a fan of those guys. Just really enjoy the way the colors come together. So.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, Cam. You're going to hate me for saying this. This is the guilty confession. So I've never been much of a sports guy. I would say I'm a Browns fan before any other football team. But a few years ago, like 7 years ago, I was like, I'm going to pick a team. And I'm going to follow them, man. I want to get what this whole being a sports fan thing is about. So I picked that football team just based on their colors. And I tried following them for a year, and it didn't go well for me.
What team was that?
Minnesota Vikings. It was the year that Brett Favre switched too, so it worked well because they went to the
divisional round of the playoffs. Yeah. Hey everybody, we're doing a sports podcast now. What's up?
Sorry, we always do that. But okay, so I could very much see, dude, if you wanted it to be really Saturday morning cartoon, there could be just this whole thing where he casts like major image or like major illusion or something like that. And it's literally just like he sends a messenger who goes into the middle of this crowded town square, and the messenger casts major image, and it's just this giant beholder head, and it's like, rah, I'm back again. You thought you had defeated me, and everyone's like, what the heck? Except for like some really old people who are like, no, it's whatever you choose. It's Zordon, the beholder, and he's just like, yes. I shall be back in several days to enact my revenge.
See? Yeah. He's a 1920s barf bag beholder. That's his name.
Yep.
No, Bugsy the Beholder. See, I'm Bugsy the Beholder. I'm here to take over your town, see?
That makes sense, too, because he's undead. He's just been around for a long time.
Yeah, he's literally the 1920s era. He's got like a fedora on the top of his head.
Oh, God.
And he's like, yeah, yeah, see, gonna take over your town, see? And then his eyes are like snapping. All of his eyes also have like little hands that do little snaps. You know?
Yes. Well, and here's the thing too, is like, so what he could also say in that, if you wanted to add some more sense to it, because he's going to be super cocky, is that would be his attempt of like trying to get everyone to surrender and just be like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to take over. So if you guys want, in 3 days, just have your gates open and I'll be there to, take over, and I'll have my revenge, and I'll make your deaths quick and all that, Saturday morning cartoon goodness. And then, at that point, your heroes are kind of just poised to be heroes. And everyone's like, crap, no, we don't have the paladins to defend us anymore. Who's gonna pilot, Schmoltron, and save the day? Who's gonna pilot the Megatron? Actually,
you know how they always do the big Stompy robots in those shows, and they always start them off as like the smaller versions of the robots. Well, we should do that. I think that they should be smaller versions. Like, say, just think about it this way. They all, maybe there's 5. Let's say that there's 5 players, because I think about it this way. You've got the 2 legs, the 2 arms, and then like the torso and head.
Yep.
Right. So there's 5 statues sort of lining the town. And then and the easy thing you have to do is just, the statue is the class of your character. And so your player's like...
Oh, we're not going to have it be a creature?
What do you mean?
Like, we're not going to have the, the different parts of this Voltron thing be different animals?
What if they were animals that represented each class then? How's that?
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a better idea. I like that. Like, the ranger is like a hawk or something like that. That becomes, then it like spreads its wings out, dips its head up, pulls its head back, and it's like the chest piece. And the barbarian would be a bear or something like that.
Dude, this is D&D we're talking about, man. I'm looking up like D&D creatures. Like, I'm just flipping through my player's handbook. What if we did like a bullet on page 34? I'm imagining that's like the fantasy version of an ox. It's like a giant rhino type creature that like dives under the earth and like pops out.
Okay.
Like, what if we did a displacer beast on page 51? That's kind of like your lion type creature.
Beast. Yep, love that.
What if we did? Yeah, I'm just like flipping through. I'm trying to think of other things. You could do a slod, but slods are kind of not quite a beast. Gnolls
Yeah,
are
they're more just
sentient.
like fish dudes.
Gorgon. But I mean, I guess
yeah.
a Gorgon and a bullet accomplish the same thing. But who cares? Griffin.
Yes, Griffin would be the chess piece.
Yes,
and that would be your like knight or your melee class.
Yep, 100%.
I think a gnoll would be cool.
A gnoll. Yeah, a gnoll. I think we're about on the same page now.
Okay. Man, there's all the different kinds of stuff. You're right though, and see, this is why I've got you here. That's why I hired you and paid you so much. A yeti.
You pay me with kisses.
I do pay you with kisses. A tree ant would be fun.
Ooh, a tree ant could be, and that could play off like the whole wood thing.
Yep. A minotaur.
Dude, yes.
A medusa.
The only thing with a minotaur and a medusa is that they're sentient creatures. So I don't know. That could get weird. Maybe it's not weird. Maybe it's just weird for me. Do it.
Well, they're
a
just
nightmare.
Statues, like
a nightmare.
Oh,
or or Pegasus.
Yes. I love those. But the reason why I'm saying like they're all like they're sort of statues, right? They're less creatures and they're more robots.
True.
So like they're just representations of that.
What if this is the thing? Hold on a second. Oh, an owl bear.
Yeah, I love the owl bear.
And a Udiug. I don't know how to say it. It's on page 243. What if? Hear me out. What if they get to build their own big Stompy robot?
Okay, I love that. That's I'm
because as we're going through,
that.
I'm just like we're going through and we're like, oh, this creature, oh, that creature. I'm like, man, we have to limit these down to 5. What if Yeah,
they get to choose from the list, and then they pick out specific features from each of the animals, and that's what they get inside the robot.
Yep. 100%.
Yep. And so you give them a list of like 20, let's say 20, and then a specific attack from each of the different whatever, like the different guys, and then that's what the different beast, and that's sort of like the legendary action that piece of the robot gets to take.
Exactly. Like every creature gives you a basic attack, and then it gives you every creature type gives you like a basic attack that is a certain type of damage, and then it also gives you like you said, like an ultimate move. And maybe like some of them have like one big ultimate move that's like you could do like a unicorn, and its ultimate move could be like, this horn, and you only get to use it once. But maybe there's another animal like the bullet. Maybe the bullet gives you just like additional movement that you can do underground, and you can do that twice because like maybe it's not as powerful. So you kind of also like get to play, because I know I have a friend, actually Eggs would love to be able to pick like between, do I want to do massive damage or do I want to have more utility?
Right. Or like the Minotaur could be a great the giant gore, and then it starts to build in the mind of the player, like, dude, if I pick Minotaur, I get the horns, and so then they have this like,
well, and this they get beast, to pick their personality.
Yeah.
Like,
and they also, at the end of it though, here's one thing, they are gonna, at the end, the robot's gonna be like, kill me, because it's just gonna be like 5 different or 6 different monsters, or it'll be the best thing ever.
That's true. Yeah. And I think here's the thing too, is doing it this way where they're picking their own animal. I think once they pick the animal, they kind of hop and pilot their own independent animal, and you can even just use the stat block of that animal as they're fighting these like skeletons or things like that. Yes. So like the guy who picks the Gorgon is like in this Gorgon. But here's the thing though. Just like true to like actual Power Rangers and Voltron, stuff like that. Like, there's the one Zord that is the Gorgon. It's big, it's strong, it does the fighting. Don't expect someone who picks the Griffin to have that same amount of like fighting force. Because Griffins are a lot weaker than Gorgons. So have some stuff, or I guess I say have some stuff as if I'm telling the DMs, like, so here's your job, DMs. Not our job. Our job isn't to brainstorm ideas at all. That's your job. But we just need to have some stuff for them to do that's not just fighting. Yeah.
Well, like you said, like the Nightmare, for example, it has ethereal stride. The Nightmare and up to 3 willing creatures within 5 feet of it magically enter the ethereal plane from the material plane, or vice versa. That sounds essentially like Nightcrawler to me. So you just poof, and then you just poof back up somewhere else, back into the standard plane again. Yep. So there's all those different benefits of each of the creatures. So like, what do we do? Like, let's see here. First off, let's do a little bit of so we're not getting too unwieldy with our because this is a listening medium. We at the moment right now have the Beholder showing up in town, going like, see, I'm Bugsy the Beholder, and you're gonna see what you did to me all those years ago, see? And then his eyes are like, see? I'm like, see? And then and then he leaves, and he's pretty much building up that giant what was it called again? The Beholder School, what's that thing called again?
I don't know. We were gonna have him make like a giant bone mech, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I think he has to have multiple forms. So he comes with this huge army of like undead and stuff like that, that's besieging the city. And then I think like once you actually get the robot up and running, very Saturday morning cartoonish, in the last 5 minutes of the show, he pulls all these skeletons and stuff like into himself and assumes this final giant mech form.
Yes. You could almost
all your players do a backflip, and then they form into a giant robot.
Yes. Pretty much ipso facto, you're a robot now. Good luck. Yep. And then your player's like, oh, what do we do? Okay. So we could do, let's see here. Let's talk about, we're just going to scroll through the monster manual. Here's what we're going to do. Scroll through the monster manual, and then we are going to legitimately just say, okay, what's one thing if this guy's not a good fighter, then what's one thing that would be something it could do? Could you pick a basilisk as a monster?
I think yes.
Okay.
I think you would have to give the basilisk some kind of okay, so here's another thing we have to talk about. The session, the makeup of this session, the way I'm picturing it, just so we kind of know, is the beginning part of the session is them building this robot, and I think you could maybe even just have that kind of be fast forwardy, like very like, oh no, we have 5 days to build these robots, so you 5 are going to be our chosen paladins. You have to pick your spirit animal, and then have there be some moments of just like fast forwarding them getting used to the animal or doing some training or stuff like that. That's the beginning. Could be very short beginning. The middle is army shows up, and there is some of them fighting outside of these mechs, and then there's some of them fighting in these mechs individually as like the separate parts. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, like what my mindset was, they all build up their base mechs, and then once they build up their base mechs, then they all turn into like a giant Stompy robot.
Cool.
It's kind of like the same way. So it's like, 5 people pick the bugbear, the unicorn, the nightmare, the owlbear, and the basilisk. Mm-hmm. And those are like the 5, running along robots, and then they're fighting and doing all their cool stuff, and they're like defending the town from the undead army, and then the beholder demon, whatever, the death tyrant, pulls everything back together to perform one giant skeleton robot, and then your players get sucked back into something. See, that's the thing. It's like, where does that come into play? How does that all fall out?
I think how it comes into play is, once again, you gotta play off the Saturday morning cartoon. Like the Death Tyrant forms himself into this giant towering bone golem type thing, and once that happens, like this little minor illusion monitor that all of them have in their robot turns on, and there's this mechanic, and he's like, "There's only one way we can beat him. Everyone, quick! Go into overdrive mode," and they all have that anime moment where they all like push the power up to full, and they
it shows all 5 of their faces on the screen, right?
Yep.
And so like at the beginning, someone could be like, "What's that big red button mean?" And then your mechanic's like, "Don't worry about that big red button.
Hopefully we never have to use it."
All you can do is press your big red button. Do it.
And believe with all your heart.
The only way this could truly be defeated is if you bring out the love. Yep. Have love when you fight.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we've got like different monsters. We need to give them fun stuff that they can do during battle.
Yes. So going back to that, basilisk.
Do you incorporate? Yeah. I think like petrifying would be really cool, but like large scale petrifying.
Yes, or even like some kind of. Okay, so Voltron, Blue Lion in the new cartoon, has like a freeze ray.
Yeah, I've never seen the show.
Like a petrification ray where it shoots and you can like seal things together with like this like cement type stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's not true petrification where like you look at it and it turns you into stone, but you can like shoot. And some things you could do with that is there could be like a tower that's falling, and the basilisk is kind of able to Spider-Man it from falling. Or it could like seal a hole in the wall, or it could cover a bunch of bad guys, or like put out a fire or something like that.
I like it a lot. Here's another one, a chimera.
Ooh, see, I was thinking about the chimera, but is the chimera unfair because it's technically 3 animals?
Well, there are 3 weaker versions of one animal. Like, right? Aren't they? Like they're all because like a dragon's a 23 challenge rating, but when it's a chimera, it's like.
Well, I was just thinking like I'm imagining that we give every like creature like its own special thing, but I feel like a chimera like you'd have to give it 3 because that's what makes the chimera a chimera.
That's true. What's a kutal? Or kualto or page 43. I am butchering that name. A cold
I don't know. I
A coldle.
I haven't like used them much, but it's like a giant flying snake type thing.
Yeah. I remember something from Final Fantasy, actually. It was called like the Quetzalcoatl. And it was like an ice bird, like an ice flying snake bird thing. That would be something. Let's see here. What else is there? They don't have to be naturally good creatures, right? Because they're all sort of robotic
I don't think
in
so.
a way. Okay. A Barlagura.
Barlagora, like the demon thing. Yeah,
It's
I
like
think
a
that's,
demon gorilla.
I think that's on the scale of like the Gorgon. Like that falls into like the powerhouse class. Dude, maybe maybe we classify them. Like
Yes.
all these creatures have a different class. And it's like, oh, this is a support class creature, or this is a like powerhouse type creature. That way they
Love
kind
it.
of like know what they're getting into.
Love it.
So I think like Gorgon, that thing, like a Frog-Emoth could be really cool. I'm looking in I'm looking in Volo's Guide to Monster right now. A flail
of course you
snail.
are.
Flail snail could be sweet. It's
That
just
would be
a
amazing.
snail that has flails. I think that's kind of utility though.
Yeah. Dude, what about the Displacer Beast would be sort of your like
Scout class?
Yeah, it's sort of like your speedy jump around type of class. And then like what could be a good support class? Would be a lot of fun for that. This might be a weird episode to be listening to, and if you're not following, sorry, but it's a lot of fun creating it. I can tell you that much right now. There's all over the place, and it's so great. What about the elementals?
I think Basilisk
yeah.
is support class.
Yeah, definitely. What about the elementals? Could they represent anything? They're a little less formed, and that's what I think.
Yeah,
would be
I feel
the
like
issue with
I
that.
feel like they're not as fun as like a creature.
Yeah, that's true.
So I saw something in the Volos called a cave fisher. It lives in the Underdark. It is blind, but it can spit like a sticky web and climb up surfaces. So that could be like a support class type thing.
Oh, Knowles, right? Did we talk? Knowles could be another scouting type of class, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
I think
think that
those are
Knoll would
definitely
be
scout
fun.
class.
Knowles would be fun. The Nagas, even though they are sentient, a Naga snake type would be something that I would consider maybe like a
Like a
scout
support
type.
class.
And what way could it be a
I could
support
see.
class?
I could see. No, I think scout. I think you're right with scout. Give them like a stealth thing though,
Yeah,
like where they can
definitely.
like change their skin tone or something.
Griffin would definitely be a support style beast to use.
And
Here, I'm
maybe you
gonna
have to
hop over
have
to Mordecai's.
maybe you have to have one of every class. So maybe we think of 5 classes. Like, so if you're just
Yeah.
asking me to off the top of my head come up with 5 classes, I'm thinking you got to have, going back to our Overwatch roots, you got to have a
Yep.
DPS, got to have a tank,
Tank,
got to have a support,
support.
you got to have a scout, and then you have to have just because once again Saturday morning cartoons, you have to have a leader class.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, because actually that's something that's utilized in 4E quite a bit as the leadership traits. There's actually quite a few classes in that game in 4E that utilize leadership, and so you can actually go and steal from that to be able to find some like cool little things to give to your players. Okay, so leadership.
I
we
think
have
Griffin,
leadership.
I think Griffin's a leadership class.
I would absolutely agree with you 100% on that as well. You know what I forgot about Mordecandans is that a lot of their stuff actually is like lore-based monsters. So they have like a lot of monsters, but they already have backstories and stuff like that too. So we've got support classes like the Basilisk. We've got a tank class like the Gorgon or the Minotaur. We've got a scouting class like the Naga or the Displacer Beast. We have a leader class like the Griffin.
I think
Now-
Pegasus too.
Yeah, Pegasus as well could be definitely a leader type, right, or a scout class.
I think leader. I
Yeah,
think Nightmare could be a DPS class.
Yeah, Nightmare for sure could be that. Let's see here. What else could be?
We have
that?
Trent. Trent could be a tank.
Yep, definitely.
If Trent's tank, I think Gorgon moves to DPS.
Yes, I like that. I like that a lot.
And then support. Did we say Basilisk is support?
Yeah.
We also have
did
a
say-
rock. We have owlbear. Rock's like a giant flying bird. There's a shadow mastiff that I just found. Blink dogs are a thing, and they can like
Blink
teleport.
dogs?
They're in the back of the monsters manual, and like the actual animals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so things that are in the actual monster manual in the back too. There's a fire beetle, I believe. It's like a beetle that can breathe fire.
I think it's such an underrated section of the monster manual.
Yeah.
Because there's not as many pictures and not full-on stat blocks. Mm-hmm. But you've got some great things in here. Giant badger, giant centipede. Man, I got to start doing some of these things in some of my games now.
So I think the blink dog, and I think the blink dog could be a support class for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
A fire beetle. What is that? I don't know if it's DPS. Is it support? Is it DPS?
I would say DPS.
DPS?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Beetle? Yeah.
Cool. Gotcha. Okay, let's pick 5. Let's pick 5 that we would call it right now.
Okay.
Like if we were 5 characters in front of us, I don't have paper to write on because I'm not prepared to do
I got
anything.
paper. I always got paper.
Okay. Give me 1 sec.
All right, we'll take turns. And you go
Yeah.
first.
No, you go first.
No, okay, me go first. DPS. Okay, DPS. I'm thinking nightmare.
Yeah, I like the idea of a nightmare because of the fact that it is
You've got fire.
You've got fire. Yeah, you've got fire. You've
That's
got
it. That's all that you want from the DPS mech is fire.
I mean, yeah.
You give it a
But I
flaming
like-
sword. DPS mech.
Oh, see, and okay. So we got the nightmare. That's your DPS, right?
Okay, yep. Now you pick tank.
The tank. I would love for the tank to be the owlbear. Actually,
Owlbear?
I like the owlbear a lot.
Okay.
It's a classic D&D
Yep.
monster.
So support. Support, we had what? Basilisk and Blink Dog? I'm going to go
Yeah.
Basilisk.
Okay.
I want that petrification goo.
Okay.
Then you have Scout
support.
class.
I love the Guardian Naga.
Ooh, okay.
I like the snake.
Snake a snake. And that leaves the
Flipper.
leader class. Oh, man. I feel like we got to go Griffin. It's just,
Yeah. So this is awesome, right?
yes.
So now we got, and then that's the scout, and then the leader, right? Okay. So we've got our mech built to fight this giant this bone monster.
Yep.
So the legs and everything like that. What's the head of this? The head of this guy? Is it the griffin's head?
Yes.
An eagle.
Griffin's head.
The head of an eagle.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the leader class.
Griffin,
I think
yes.
the support and the DPS are the arms, and the
Okay.
tank and the scout are the legs. Because your legs need to be sturdy and quick, and then your hands need to be like able to dish out stuff, but also able to like lend a hand. Yeah, see what I did there?
Yeah. So nightmare is a leg, and
No, it would be Nightmare would be probably right arm. Basilisk would be left arm.
got it.
Owlbear would be left leg.
Got it.
Guardian Naga would be right leg. And tail.
Yeah, of course.
And then Griffin would be head, body, and wings.
Yes. Okay, cool. So this is what we got, right? We've got the head of a griffin, the arms of a basilisk and a nightmare, and we've got the owlbear leg and the guardian naga leg itself. So now, what do each of those things do when they are in combat? What can each player add to the battle? The nightmare is obviously like a big flaming arm, right?
Yep. I think its basic attack is probably like it can shoot fire. And I think its ultimate is like it gives you like a sword for what, like 2 rounds, flaming sword.
Yeah. Like a summoned flaming sword.
Yep.
Okay. I think for like the basilisk, the petrification ray is a huge one, right? Mm-hmm. That's what
Yep.
we would want to.
But I think that would be in giant mech form. I think that would have to be like its special.
Yeah.
But its basic attack could be some kind of like a ranged attack could be like a rock throw.
Yeah.
Or a melee attack could be like I feel like basilisks are kind of like very spiky almost, so you could just have it be like a punch or a shield.
Spiky
it could make a
punch.
cement shield.
There it is. Yeah, because we can also think defensively as well.
Mm-hmm. No,
The Guardian
all DPS.
Let me flip over to the Guardian. Let me flick. Well, not everybody in this world's a good person and likes to care about their teammates. Some people would just like to go kill stuff.
I want to play Hammond DPS. You can all flex pick off of me.
I don't think they're going to understand our Overwatch jokes.
That's true. That's true.
Everybody, if y'all want to ever come play Overwatch with us, just hop on PS4. Hit us up on the Discord. We'll play Overwatch.
Yeah, we'll play Overwatch.
Yeah,
Eggs, I miss you. Get PS4 Plus again.
Yeah. The Naga could be like every step that the giant robot takes sort of spreads out like a good layer of poison around the ground.
Ooh.
That could avoid taking damage from like melee range.
What if you get like several of the Guardian Naga's big spells too?
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. It has Flame Strike. It has True Seeing.
That sounds supporty.
Yeah, I'm facing away from my mic. I apologize, guys. I'm reading. It has Banishment, Freedom of Movement.
Ooh, freedom of movement. For sure give him
Okay.
that. Because that means you can have this bone, like, you could, like, I'm just picturing Saturday morning cartoon, like, this, Death Tyrant is like, we'll dodge this, bone wave, and, like, it just gets surrounded with these bones, or, like, constrictor bone, whatever, and it's just, like, trapped. And it's like, like, there's sirens going off, you're like, no, we'll never get out of these bones. And the support class is like, not so fast. I've got freedom of movement.
And it's like, quick cut, hand in the air, quick cut, button, quick cut, boom, smashes the button. Freedom movement spell.
Yep,
Engage.
exactly.
Okay, we got Owlbear. What about the Owlbear?
Ooh, for tank. Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Basilisk is our shield. So what does the tank do then?
The tank takes a lot of damage, obviously. Especially if you play like I do. So, let's find out what the old Owlbear can do, eh?
I think it's just got like a claw and like a beak attack.
Yeah, there ain't nothing special to you, is there, buddy? Well, there is today. The armor of the Owlbear. Feathers made from, like, copper and stone and metals and all these different sort of, like, metals sort of encase the entire mech robot. The mech robot lifts its owlbear foot, stomps on the ground, and as it does, it sends a shockwave rippling up the entire
that.
mech.
Yep.
With like feathers sort of flapping and then folding over, causing like a 2-turn major armor class increase or something to the actual mech itself.
I like that. Like an Owlbear Rage type thing. I like the shockwave too, because that shockwave could be sweet.
Yeah, but it does it in both ways, right? Because like that's a tank taking away things and then also adding to your defensive capabilities.
So what if so Shield is a spell. It's a first level spell. It is a reaction, and it gives you +5 AC. So there is still a chance that something can hit you, but it's harder.
Yes.
And when I think of like, so here's this giant bone thing, and it's like coming at you or sending a wave of bones or something at you, and then you use this Owlbear shockwave, and mechanically it increases your AC, but flavorfully it does that through like this shockwave that like changes the terrain or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I love that quite a bit, actually. So I think that's probably the best way to do it, because then it's like creating a zone around your mech that is, it's just making it rough for the enemy to advance on the mech at the same time.
Yes.
Also improving your defensive capabilities.
Yep.
And then the Griffin, last but not least.
Wings.
Yeah, that's like, do you sprout the wings and then you get them for X amount of time or something like that?
Yep.
Okay, I like that. And that just gives you straight up fly.
Or, once again, Saturday morning cartoonish. The way you gotta do things is first, the Death Tyrant sprouts bone wings near the end of its fight. And he's like, nah, I'm going to finish you for real this time. And he sprouts bone wings, and he starts charging a move in the air. Probably Spirit Tomb Ball.
Spirit Tomb Bomb.
And then your leader class is like, guess what? I've got wings.
Check this out, Haas. And then boom. And then, yeah, like the wings, but it also takes an enormous toll on your giant paladin mechanoid robot. What have we just created for this entire episode? My God.
Much good. That's what we've created. We've done a beautiful thing.
We did episode 25. We're old enough to get a discount on our car insurance, and on top of that, made mechanoid a thing. Mech battles in D&D a thing. Mm-hmm. So
I'm proud of
you're
us.
welcome.
I'm proud.
You're welcome. Well, so it's your turn this week.
Oh man,
I know.
I have been blessed.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and give us a breakdown while I go ahead and think of what this is going to be.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so the great and powerful Death Tyrant, previously known as Bugsy the Beholder, comes into town and says, "Yeah, see? You ain't gonna catch me this time, see? I'm gonna come get my revenge. It's been 115 years, see? And I'm here to kill you." And everybody's like, man, he is terrible at giving speeches like that. And they're not really intimidated. But then he says, look, you got a chance. You can open your doors. I'll make it easy on you. I'll kill you real nice and quick. Then the entire town freaks out, goes to your player, says, look, you are our only hope. You must, create this thing called Zordon. I don't know what it's called. It's a big robot. Hey, everybody, that's our name, Big Stompy Robot. Y'all go back and make Bible Man. Bible Man is a collection of multiple different other robots that your players have created over a short period of time. They defend against the oncoming wave of skeleton warriors. This skeleton army coming to descend upon the town. They defend against that for a little while, and then all of a sudden the Death Tyrant pops up, creates a giant mech out of skeletons, and your players have to combine to create one amalgamation of beast robots, and they have a giant battle. And we didn't talk about the repercussions of what happens if you step on people's buildings, but that's for you to decide. And then, they fight to the death.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. I'm ready.
Go for it.
He's too strong. We can't beat him in our individual mechs. He's just too big. Now, paladins, you will all suffer, and the city will be mine. Whip, whip, whip. What is it? What do you have for us? Everyone, this is risky, but I think if we all press the red button in unison, we might be able to beat the Death Tyrant. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I don't know if we can do it.
No, we've got no other chance.
Okay, let everyone together. Ha! The hands are going up in the air, and it's like, choo, 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 choo. And then they all form together, and it's like, and the wings sprout out, and there's like a zoom in on like the snake head going, and then they all like land, and it goes, ching, and the Death Tyrant's like, wow, what's this? And they're like, guess what, Death Tyrant? You're going down. And then they all charge forward, and it's like a cinematic, like the anime thing where it's got all like the black lines going in one direction to make the lighting look super epic. And that's it. That's my synopsis.
Single-handedly our best synopsis.
Yeah, I had to do it anime style. Like,
dude, the way you did it with the 4 different voices, I'm like, oh, I think we can do it. I don't know if we can do it. Maybe not. I thought that was incredible.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man.
I have no idea what we're going to do for the Instagram for this one. I love this. This is the session that I needed. Man, I'm glad that we could just get silly with this one. I hope anyone who is still listening after that hopefully can make some amazing session for your players. Like, I want to do this so bad. Like, this might be my Halloween session.
Oh god,
I
that's
was gonna go
awesome.
spooky, scary skeletons. I think I'm doing this instead. Okay, so serious though, everybody. I know we
Yeah.
always say like, comment, whatever. Tell
Share.
us how your
Like,
sessions
share,
are going.
subscribe, yeah.
If somebody runs this, please become my best
Seriously.
friend. Become our best friends on social media. Like seriously, Cam. What are our social medias? Where can they find
You
us?
can find us at Filling in the Gaps on Twitter. It's actually spelled Fillin in the Gaps, Fillin.
Because we're feeling a little laid
INT.
back on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's where we kick loose.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to add the apostrophe. They have a name size limit. You can find us at Filling in the Gaps on Reddit. You can find us on YouTube, and our YouTube is almost to full strength. We have all of our episodes up on each of the for each of the weeks that we've done an episode. We've even got some episode trailers up as well, which are a little bit of fun. We're going to be live streaming on YouTube, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh,
that will
yeah.
also archive. So for those of you that have different schedules than we do, you can always go back and watch. If you want to join in on that conversation, that's going to be some fun stuff. So some ideas. Rich, I might have not told you about this, but I was thinking about this, and you might.
How dare you?
I want to see. Yeah. I wanted to do a NPC creation show on YouTube called "Hello, My Name Is," and we're going to use random tables.
My name is
sort
huh?
of
My name is
Yep.
what? My name is huh?
Bible Man.
Bible Man.
That's our first. That's our first NPC character. Hello, everybody. I'm Bible Man. And so we were gonna. I think that would be something a lot of fun to do. We'll use random tables for the creation of those NPCs. They're going to be shorter episodes, but they should be a lot of fun. We are going to be doing some live streaming of the work that we do on our supplements. There's nothing scheduled for this stuff, so I don't want to create any expectations, more so than that's our plan for what we're doing on there. Beyond that, we don't really have too much of a plan as of yet.
And
But
just
those
like
are
this
some things.
episode would, the way we can say it is like a cliffhanger. Will Cam and Rich make an NPC episode and stream? Yes, you should pay attention to it. Will they go ahead and post regularly on social media? Cam will. We'll see if Rich does.
And if they do, will the entire audience grow and gain millions and millions of followers, being able to quit their day jobs, make millions of dollars, and be happily ever after men?
Tune in next week to find out. But also, hey, giveaways,
shit.
dice giveaways. We're doing the dice giveaways.
Oh, yeah.
So when you guys see those Twitter and Instagram posts, or if you hop onto our Reddit, let us know. Like on Twitter and Instagram, comment on Reddit, and we will in 2 weeks on October 28th on Spookiness Eve, or close to Spookiness Eve, we will give away those. The trick or treat giveaway.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I love it.
We already knew. Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
perfect.
I love it.
I love it, buddy.
Well, hey guys, thanks.
Awesome.
Like seriously, guys. Like I'm just so happy at the end of this episode. I'm losing all professionalism.
Yeah.
So thanks, so much, everybody, to listening to this episode of Filling in the Gaps. I hope that you have an awesome idea for how you can use this during your next session. We will see you guys on social media, and we hope that your next game night is the best it's ever been. We'll see you guys next week.